Hello and welcome to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yesterday we got our little mage working as an NPC, so now we've got two NPCs. We've got a villager and the mage here. I think the next step I want to do is try to give them a little bit of a different path. So right now they're both walking in the counterclockwise square. I want to be able to maybe tweak a couple of things, like give them a random amount of space to walk, but limited to like maybe 2 pixels or so, or 2 tile sizes, and then maybe change how often they walk, yeah, how long they wait, so that these would be different instead of synchronized walking in a square, you know? So if we can figure out how to decouple it with some random values, then maybe we can start to potentially add another state of maybe walking in a rectangle or a longer area of effect or so. Okay, let's get started. So right now we have an entity NPCWalkState here. And it goes, it's not very, I don't know what the word is, sophisticated. We have a couple different steps. So like, it's gonna be, step 1 is face the direction. Step 2 is wait. Step 3 is walk that direction. Step 4 is wait. So that's all it's doing. So I think what I want to do is, instead of this wait timer getting initialized up here as a value, just as a static value, I think we want to assign it to be a random value. And then I think how math.random works is it can give you... Actually, let's just pull up so I'm not talking out of nowhere here. Math.random for Lua. Now we should seed by OS time so that we get unique random stuff. So it looks like if you give it with no arguments, it's between 0 and 1, and then from 1 to 5, from 4 to 8. Okay, so it looks like we can do this, and then we just want to seed our random so that it's different every time. So Love2d random seed. We might have a random seed set. It looks like it's just love.math set random seed. So we'd probably do that in our main function. We might have it in our main actually, but maybe not. We do. So we do set the random seed. So we should be okay to just go ahead and generate the I already forgot what it was, math.random. And then we can start to give a little bit of uniqueness to the timing for them to be walking. What's up, K-Chan? How's it going, dude? You got class going on right now? So right here, instead of assigning a... Oh, nice. Congratulations, dude. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, instead of giving a wait timer here, let's give a random time. So we'll say math.random, and then we'll give it 2 different values, and we'll say between a half second and maybe 2 seconds. And now that's what the wait timer is for step 2, which is the time before we take a step. It's after we've turned, but before we've taken a step. And then this one is after we've taken a step, but before we've turned. So I'm going to put a random wait timer in there as well. Now, both of our NPCs are currently getting this NPCWalkState. So I'm thinking they'll be offset from one another now. Let's see. Wow, so like even just that amount of difference, now I can't tell that they're both on the same AI path, right? Ooh, Termux for Android. No way. That works? That's pretty sweet, dude. That's really sweet. I might have to whip out my Android to get some of that action going on. So, dude, wait, so you can... Is that just in the Google Play Store or the Android store or whatever? You can get Termux? Does it... And the keyboard pops up and you can do that? Dude, that's dope. Man, so now Apple will get that feature in like what, 5 years now? Dude, that sounds dope. That, I'm jealous now. Now I want to make my Android like a little SSH terminal dedicated thing, because all my websites are hosted, you know, on some server, so I could just do the old SSH. That would be sweet. That's awesome, dude. Well, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I thought everything I always hope is that simple. So like, yeah, they're waiting in between half a second and 2 seconds. So maybe we shrink it down, like maybe we do a quarter of a second up to 1.5 so that they speed up just a bit. But this is looking sweet. And then I kind of want the mage to be here. I kind of want the mage to be right here on screen. Maybe just right here at the mage. And then we can put the other guy up here, and then we can spawn down here or something. Just so that it looks a little, you know, this page looks prettier than this page is all that really comes down to. So I do notice like a little bit, yeah, see how we're like glitching out? What is going on there, man? When we hold a direction, when we walk off screen, we're getting... I'll have to test this on the Mac deployment and see if it's screwed up here, because we shouldn't be... Wow, I don't know what would be screwing that up. Because that's just, we're tweening the values, but we're only tweening... If we move up, we only tween the value of the Y position, not the X position. So I don't see why we would get messed up like that. Okay. So let's move our NPCs to the... Cool. I will check that out, K-John. That's really cool. I want to move in our map declarations our NPCs from our map 6.2 down to 7.2. So we will just move all of our 6.2, substitute 6 to 7. And then we will, of course, index that right here. We missed one. Cool. So they're here now, but the walking over a tree, right? Which is, you know, we could technically add collision detection for NPCs for collidable map objects, but the NPCs are going to be contained, because I don't think we're going to be writing any AI pathfinding for them. Ideally, they're just going to be in a predetermined grid, right? And then they just walk there. So let's get our mage down over here. I want our mage down to the bottom right, and then our other guy can be basically where we are now. I mean, yeah, maybe he's fine there even. Let's just move our mage. Sweet. This is cool, man. It's starting to feel like a little world here. Let's put on snow just for the fun of it. Or rain. We haven't put on rain in a while. So I'm going to go to our play state. I'm going to look for our rain system. I thought it was in our play state. It might be in our map. Yeah, rain system. Okay, so we are going to update our rain system. And then we need to render our rain system. And we got to make sure we init our rain system. Okay. Nice. Yeah, rain is too much. Rain is too much, but yeah. Well, you know what? We'll leave it off. I was just maybe we'll put on snow. I just wanted, you know, the game is so close to starting to look like it's something that I'm kind of like, just put on, you know, the snow and then it'll be, you know, one more layer of polished, but it doesn't look that great. Okay. So we've got our NPCs walking here. Let's put our mage is going to be down here walking like this. And then our villager is going to be walking up on the left there, and then we'll spawn a little lower. So let's move our mage first. We do that in map declarations, and it's right here. And villager 1, and here's the mage. Now here's where we need to initialize his positions. So we'll give him maybe, it's what, 160 wide? 160 wide, so if we want him 2 from the left, it would be 160 minus 32, so maybe like 120 for the X, and maybe like 100 on the Y. I don't exactly know. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's move him to the left just a bit, because he'll walk up into the he'll walk up into the things there. Let's put him a little lower and a little lefter. Okay, a little higher, a little higher. Maybe we'll just do a hundo. Yeah. Now he doesn't look, he's not flush. He's not flush with the tile system, so we should give a certain amount of tile width. So we can do a tile size and then give which number of tiles over we want. So let's see if tile size of 5 is, yeah, we want 7. So 7, and then that's actually a better way to do it. Now, when they're walking, they're not technically walking a tile size locked in position. They're walking based on a time. So I do need to scoot him down. So if the time happens to be longer than it takes for him to walk 16 pixels, then he'll be offset from the perfect lineup. But it looks like it's perfect here at 1 second. So it looks like the time, well, no, he's got 1 pixel of overlap on the right side there. I believe we put them walking at the same, oh, wow. He fixed himself there. So maybe he walks a little further when he walks left, but okay, well, it seems to be working. And then we'll put us down here just for now. We'll put us like right here, and then we'll put the villager over to the left. So let's move our villager. Let's see. Okay, we just want him left, maybe 2. And then we'll spawn us lower. Okay, I'm not seeing where we give our player X and Y position. It might be under the player instantiation. Yeah, right here. So let's give us just the same idea where we say maybe 3 tiles from the left, 3 tiles down. And then now we should be not, yeah, cool. So that's about where I wanted things. Okay, so I don't think we need to add in collision detection for the NPCs for collidable map objects, because they're they're predetermined. So even though they might be waiting a random amount of time, I don't think they'll be walking a random amount of distance, because then they can get off. Then we have to add in different AI and stuff. Today for me, Katron, I played some poker with some buddies, so that was fun. I think it was the first time I had played with anybody. I had like seen somebody explain the rules to me, but you know, they said all these words and big blind, small blind, river, turn, flop. So like I didn't really I think the best way to learn is really to just get in there and start playing. So hey, Soup. I thought you might be lurking in there. But yeah, I did have fun. I did learn quite a bit. It was much better to just like feel the flow of the game and then start to learn that way, instead of like I was trying to like learn some of the rules about like the flop and river and the turn or whatever, and I didn't know what that meant and stuff. So it was fun playing though, that was for sure. Okay, so yeah, these guys are walking their little merry way. Oh shoot, man, that's okay. Is Vic still up? Vic was spanking. We will need to add a little dialogue box here probably soon, right? Because it's starting to look, you know, like if we wanted the demo, right? Like this is cool for the demo to have another NPC. You know, we should add like a little girl character, so that we have some, you know, different types of sprites. But we can also, yeah, you know what? I think I want to decrease the time they're walking just a bit, because I think they're walking just a bit further than a whole tile size. But it would be nice if we could come up here and hit something for the sign and have something show up that says, you know, river to the left or something, you know, just like a little dialogue box, like a simple thing like that. So maybe we'd have to start doing, like, I guess we can add an event listener for if action is pressed, then check the space in front of you depending on your direction, and if the space in front of you has a tile ID equal to that of a signpost, then display, you know, and then I guess we'd have to get the right sign, the right language. We'd have to tie. Yeah, so we might, yeah, maybe instead of by the tile ID, maybe we'd have to make a little class that says, okay, here's a signpost class, here's the text that goes inside of it, and here's the X and Y position for that signpost. And once action is pressed, if there is a signpost object in the immediate in front of our player, then go ahead, pause time, pull up the dialog box, and listen for the event, click again to resume the delta time update. So I don't know if we should start that today, but let's tweak the amount of time that they're walking, and not just the time until they walk and time after they walk. So let's take a look at the walk state, and right here. So this is how long they walk, and the walk timer is set to be this local variable here. So if we just shorten this just a hair, did we set? Yeah, we flushed our wait timer, I believe. Yeah. They're cute. I like them. That's cool. Okay. You know, it's pretty like apparent that they're still just walking in one direction, right? So maybe we can add maybe a parameter or an option to the walk state so that they can be like, oh, go to walk state option 1. Option 1 is a small square. Option 2 might be a longer rectangle lengthwise. And then we can place them where they fit. What up, Magnetonics? How's it going, dude? Yeah, I think... Thanks, Katron. I think I like the mage a lot. I think he's cool. And then the villager's cool too. Yeah, I'm hoping we can get, if we get maybe 2 or 3 more interesting NPCs, then we'll start to really have, I don't want any of these guys to appear more than once, So I think the only things that we're going to reuse are going to be stuff like the geckos or the animals. So like it makes sense to me that the geckos would look the same, but I don't want the NPCs being reused. They're kind of unique. And then nice. What are you, because I know you have some artist friends, right? Or you're commissioning some art. Are you just drafting up concept to give to them? Or are you going to try to do some pixel art? Is your concept in pixel art, or is it more so just really just the concept? Okay. So I think the thing we should try to do is try to get options working for our NPC state. So we don't have I guess we do have a option. We can make an option field. We can say self option gets 1 by default, and that can be this. But maybe, option 2 is walk a little bit longer lengthwise. But I want to see if we can how would we trigger this option 1 within this walk state for the entity, because it's a little, I didn't write the library for using the state machine for Lua, so I'm not exactly sure if we can go see, like, how would we change a field within this actual state machine. Normally all we do is say global state machine : change, but I'm wondering if we can, let's just see if we can print out the value somehow, and then if we can see the value, this option 1, then we can say, okay, now we can do something with that. So I'm just going to put 124 in that self.option for the NPCWalkState. And we're going to see if we can print up the value of that option field. So if we go to our map here, we should be able to go to our render, and let's just test love.graphics .print, and we'll say that this is .option. We know it's a state machine option, and we'll try to, let's just get option on there and make sure that's working. So a 0 for the X, a 10 for the Y. Let's see. Okay, option. So let's see if we can do, nice. Good luck with that, man. I know that, dude, art and concept stuff is really tough, but it's, you know, it's what can make your game unique and stand out and everything, so it is definitely important. Okay, so we've got option, but we need to try to put the actual option of this state machine. So I think I want to say it's in something like a global state machine. G state machine is what? Okay, well, we might have to add. Okay, so this is tough because the there's multiple instances of the state for different NPCs, right? So like our NPC walk state is held by both our villager and our mage. So we have to think about how to access that particular state machine. We do have a global state machine, but that doesn't have access to this specific one. So let's see if in our map declarations, no, in our, where is it? We do have, oh, look at this. It's part of our NPC. Okay. So when we go and say NPC idle returns this idle state with a villager, and that is a state machine class like this, then we're saying, okay, that class lives in the dot state machine of the NPC that's in map 7.2 at the key of villager index. So if we were to try to, this is in the dot state machine, so I think we'll be able to get that 124 out if we go into the dot state machine like this. Let's see if that's the case. We'll go to map and we'll say, yeah, we want to do this, I think. Let's say that we want to concatenate to our option a string that is the map at, now we have to know which and actually every state machine has that field, so we should be able to ask any NPC dot state machine. Okay, so let's see. We'll say 7.2 dot NPC villager index, and then we'll go into the dot state machine, and the dot state machine should have an option field that we're trying to print up. So let's see if that works. No. We have to close our string. So let's do that. Oh, nice. 292 on the map. I don't know what ESP32 is, but it's just whatever you're connecting to, whatever your whatever your server is. Okay, let's try to negate the option. Okay, doesn't know. Let's try to negate the state machine. Okay, it's nil. So what if we do a inspect here? Okay. And then if we go into the state machine, okay. So it doesn't look like we can do that. We can't really touch it. Okay, cool. Hey, that sounds awesome. Next question is, what's a cistern? Something that holds water, I'm assuming. Okay, so we have a self.option in the NPCWalkState init. So how come we can't, like when we assign our walk state? Nice. Looking for in our map declarations when we do this. Oh, we have to go into the key. Yeah, we have to go into the key of the state machine, I think, because state machine itself is a table, but state machine added index key should be that init. I don't exactly know, but we'll try it here. Okay, so let's try to go into the key of NPC tac walk, and then let's see if that index a nil value again. Oh, village index. Okay, that was declared elsewhere, so villager index is actually just 1. Okay, we're getting nil now. Let's try to see if we can just do the state machine. Oh, look at that. Okay. Okay, so let's try to go into the option field and see if we can snag it. We're looking for that 1, 2, 4 on the state machine, so we might have to do... Gosh, we might have to do that again. NPC walk dot option. Shit. NPC walk a nil value state machine. Okay. We're getting close. We're getting close. We were able to go into the state machine, so let's just look at that again. Because we were able to go into the state machine. Current. Okay, so maybe we can... Oh, wait, it says... Let's see if we can do a .current and does it crash there. It doesn't crash. Oh, and it gave us whatever our current... Okay, so now can we do option? We're looking for 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. Okay, so state machine has a .current that gets whatever state is currently on there. So we can access those fields. So the idea is, if we, now that we have access to the state machine of a specific NPC, we can maybe say villager gets option 2, because villager needs to walk a little bit longer before he walks up and left, you know, a longer rectangle. And then option 1 is mage, and he just walks in a little square like this. And then for any option we want, and we could even give them real names, we can say if mage option, walk mage, you know, whatever. And then we can have only one state but control different behaviors. Or we can just pull it out into a different state entirely. It's just up to us for the game design. But we're able to pull out that option field using this .current. So I'm wondering what else is in there, because I didn't know this .current existed. I'm kind of curious if we were to just try to debug the state machine, what would happen. So let's just dig through and see what we have to do for that. Now the debugging in the terminal gets a little ugly. I don't know if it's Windows subsystem for Linux or what, but if we go into our conf file, we should be able to come in here and say console gets true. And then if we run our game, we should see, well, we're not printing anything to the console, so we won't see anything. But if we go here and we instead try to print out what is in the state machine, so we want to say print what is in this state machine, then we can maybe see the values here in the console. It's just a table. Okay, if we go, everything is just a table. See, this is the messed up stuff. This is why I turn this off in the conf, because it gets gross like this. Then I have to do that to fix it. I don't know why. But let's instead of just printing the table, we want to use our inspect function, which turns, you know, it kind of recursively goes into the table and prints out all the little values. So we should be able to see it here. Shoot, maybe not. Inspect. Oh, inspect. Okay, there we go. That would help. Okay. So it looks like... Okay, so it has a table of states. It has a dot empty. I don't even know. Let's see if we turn that off, we can kind of scroll through. No, Jesus. I want a list of this stuff. I want to be able to scroll through this because there's other info on there that I'm missing. But it looks like we know there's a .current, I just don't see it. And then there's a .empty, which has the state machine functions like enter, exit, render, update. And then it has the states, so it knows which states it's got, and then it knows which states it's in with .current. So I've never been able to print out. Maybe if we do this in Mob Debugger, it might be able to show us. There's a server for communication between the house pump back to the web server. Dude, that is sick. That's awesome, dude. That's going to be awesome. I'm wanting to set up something kind of similar. Well, like in terms of just like project stuff, like I want to be able to set up a little camera system to watch my dog as she breaks out of her kennel. But like, you know, streaming to a website or something, the PNGs from the Raspberry Pi. Let's see here. Okay, I do want to see if Mob Debugger can print this up, because I want to see this whole table here. Where is it? Maybe I don't have it installed. Oh, it's called, Mob Debugger isn't what it's called. The editor's called, what is it called? I gotta look that up. There's a specific IDE for Lua that is supposed to have Zero Brain. That's what it is. Man, I had Zero Brain right there. That's what it is. Okay, let's try this. So we're trying to, let's run this. And we'll see if it prints up. Okay. Now, do we have access to this table? Shit. I want to be able to scroll through this table. Okay. Shit, man. Okay. Here we go. Holy crap, okay. Wow. That looks like the top of it. Initial timer. Okay. So it looks like we have a current that gets all the init values. It gets the entities. It gets the entity definitions for the different animations. That's all the animations. It gets all the entity. This is still in entities. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the current looks like the last of these kind of top level domain tables here. So it looks like we've got states, we've got empty, and then we've got current. And current is I guess current is the current state you're in, but it's kind of weird to me that it would be holding the entities like that. But I guess it makes sense because the entity itself is what has the different states, and the entity itself is what has the different animation stuff. So I think that does make sense to me. So that's cool. We learned something today about the state machine and how it works by digging in that way. So that is cool. So we should be able to, well, now I do want to turn off that comp so it doesn't screw us up again. let's see. Okay. So option 124 there is being pulled in from the NPCWalkState. And it's specifically called from the villager instantiation. So let's say instead of option 1 being set here, we want to, I guess we could, yeah, I guess we have to remember to always give an option once we give the state here. So like once we do our map declarations, once we give this state machine to the actual NPC, we need to make sure to put the option. Otherwise, we will crash when we go to exerting the option. So like we can say, like right here, we can say, okay, well now go into that NPCs. So that should be the NPC entity that is in our current map that we spawn to. And we want to go, it's not just dot option. I think it's dot current. No, it's dot state machine. Oops, dot state machine, then dot current, then dot option. So if we go and see what we were just printing up, let's just make sure we did that right. We're going into the dot NPC at the villager index, which is 1, dot state machine dot current dot option. Okay, so if we set the option here, then what I want to do is come in here and go back to our walk state and potentially say, well, I think we give ourselves the option by manually assigning it over there in the map declarations. If we define it here, it'll overwrite that, I'm pretty sure. So I think we are able to say if self.option is equal to 1, then go ahead and do what we've been doing with our walk in a square logic. So we've got this stuff for our walk in a square logic. And then we've got, we can take this all out. Okay, so the question is, does this crash? It does not. Now the option we're printing is it's turning, this is weird. It's not, they're not moving because none of their dot options is equal to 1 at the moment. So we self.option, self state machine dot current dot option gets 1. Okay. Oh, but it does. Oh, the current option. Okay. The current option is set for the idle state, and the idle state doesn't have anything to do with an option, and it doesn't move. So I think we have to set this by the time we trigger a NPC walk. Okay, so if not this. Okay. Walk. So okay, this is backwards. We have to fix this part, because right now whenever we try to initialize an NPC to an idle state, it crashes. It's fine if we start at a walk and then change it to idle, but it isn't fine initialize at an idle, and I don't know why. So what we'll do is we'll say once we're in idle state, before we change, we're just gonna go and change. This is just testing, right? Like this isn't gonna be final code, but we're gonna say go into that villager index here, go into its state machine, and current option gets 1, and we don't want it here. I think we want it literally right in. Actually, yeah, how would we do this? Because the current, we would have to go, I think we'd have to go into the states that it has and go into the NPCWalkState. I think that's how we would do it, and then give it an option 1. Nah. It doesn't like the states. It wasn't, I might have to open Zero Brain again. Okay, we do need our conf turned back on. Our console conf. And then we will run the game, and we will, I think we're still printing it. Okay. How do I pause? Okay. Yeah, it is literally called states, and it's a table with an index called NPCWalk, so we should be able to do it. Just like how we're saying .current, .current, oh shit. No. Yeah. We go, if we do a .current, it gives us whatever our entity's current state is, but what does that mean? It's not the, it's like the entity's current stuff in whatever state it happens to be in. So if we wanted to I don't know. Because we're trying to just give, I think we might have to have our state taken an optional parameter here, an option parameter. But I don't know how to do that. It sounds simple enough, but the state machine doesn't function like the classes do. Like I can't just say give the NPC walk a dot option of 1 because we crash. Yeah, so let's say, oh god, this is the, so maybe not dot, maybe we'll go here and we'll say dot current, but we'll do this after we change the state. Now, I guess the question is, I don't know if at the speed of computer thought, if this gets executed after this, or once we hit change state, this gets, I don't know, because this is an idle state. I don't know if it breaks from here and just goes to the update. That's kind of what I'm assuming it'll do. But let's see if we say that the current option, because now that NPC's state is in NPC walk, which should be that dot current, and then we're going into that to try to change its field to 1. Let's see. Okay, look at that. So yeah, they're both NPCs, yet only one has the option of 1. And option 1 right now is doing our circular logic. So maybe instead of trying to remember that option 1 is a square and option 2 is a rectangle that goes longwise. Maybe we come up with string names for this so that we can say option gets square, and then he'll walk in a square, and then option gets long rectangle or tall rectangle, and then they'll walk in whatever that option happens to be. So let's first of all turn off our conf, which we need to harpoon so that we can have easy access there, man. Okay, let's harpoon it. So we've got it down there, and then we'll say, yeah. Ideally, we do it right here. So like, let's not do an idle. We'll debug that soon. But if we change straight to a walk, oh come on. This is why we had to do it. Okay. Why is NPC? Okay. I don't know why this crashes. We give ourselves the NPCWalkState right here. And all we're trying to do is change to that state, yet we say index a local anim is a nil value. So how come our walk state is getting an anim when our idle is not? Let's just dig into this and see if we can find it now, because this is bugging me. Let's dig into our idle state and see if there is an anim. There is an anim. That's how we render. And it's an anim from our self.entity.current animation. If we look at what that self.entity is, it's the parameter that we initialize our state with. So when we're in our map declarations and we say, give us an idle state with a specific entity, which we're going into our NPC table at our villager index, that is our villager entity. We're saying, give us that I don't see why it would crash. It would crash saying anim's a nil value, but anim is the self.entity's current animation. So why is the current animation nil? Part of me thinks like if we just say that there's only NPC walk in there, then we change it to walk, does it still crash? It does. So why is walk crashing when idle is not? Now idle had an anim and it was fine, it wasn't nil. Because we're fine here. We don't crash when we start as an idle, yet we crash when in anim is a nil value, even though we're doing the same thing in our walk state. We're saying self.entity gets entity, and then by the time we use anim, it's that same exact thing. Local anim gets our dot current animation. So unless we have change animations here depending on the option, yet does our idle state, our idle state does have a change animation. So I don't get what the difference is in our anim files. I still don't get what that difference is. Now we are doing a change animation here, but I don't think that will actually change much. Well, it would help if we are not... Oh, maybe that is the difference. Our idle state has a .entity change animation in the init, but our walk state does not. If we change to... Let's try walk direction, and then we'll go back to our map declarations and try. I feel like we tried this when we first found the bug and it still didn't fix it. Yeah. So why? This is so weird. Okay, let's dig a little deeper. So if anim is a nil value, that means current anim is a nil value at this point in time, because current animation is what we're pulling from the entity. But our entity runs the animation function or class and stores it in the .animations. I thought it does this. So when we run create animations, that's when we give a... See, but this still isn't current animations. We need to find where current animation... Okay. So yeah, we change an animation to... Okay. So what's happening here... Okay, let me try this again. We'll go into our entity. And we'll look for current animation. Now, all the dot... This is what is nil, right? Yeah, Leva, Jimmy... So Jimmy's almost always up as high as she can be. If she's not as high as she can be, she's normally... in the tree, as high in the tree as she can be. But yeah, so Jimmy loves climbing up. And sometimes at night, I used to sleep with Jimmy in the same room. She's not in the same room anymore, but at night I would hear her climbing. And one time I didn't like turn the lights on and spook her, but I kind of like lit off axis so I can see what she was doing. And she was like Mission Impossible on top, completely upside down, on top of the grate up there. So she was like crawling literally all the way upside down. It was awesome. Okay. So our dot animations is what holds all of the animation class variables. So like if we look at create animations, it goes, it returns a bunch of so like if we had walk left, walk right, walk up, walk down, all of those are their own animation that we declare in our entity defs. Then when we go in here and we create animations, which we need to see when we do this. We do this in the init. And we say .animations gets our animations that are created. So the create animations will go and make, it'll go through all of the animations we defined in our entity defs. And it will return a couple of different things. It goes through and it says, hey, let's take that texture from the animation def. Let's take those frames from the entity def. Let's take those intervals from the entity def. Because we pass in the animations. So the animations is the entity def that we pass in. Yeah, def.animations, that's how it knows which entity to pull these animations from. And then, so we're running create animations upon the entity init. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of why it thinks that our current animation is nil by the time we try to change to a walk state at the very beginning of the game. So create animations is here in the init. Now we still don't have a .current animations. that comes in from a change animation. So if we give our entity animations but don't change to an animation, we don't have a current animation, which makes sense. So we need to change our... See, and that's where I thought we would fix it, by doing a change animation to whatever animation we want to be our current, but that didn't fix it. Because we have one right here. We say, hey, go ahead and change the animation right here to the idle animation of whatever direction we're facing. And then in the walk state, we say, okay, well, let's do the same thing. Let's give our entity and change an animation so that our dot current animations isn't empty. But when we do that, we still attempt to index local anim, which is a nil value. So our local anim, and what's so weird is this works. Oh my. Why is it current animation? Okay. So it's still busted. Like, that wasn't the issue. Because we knew it was in a walk state, we were doing the logic for a walk state update, so that wasn't the issue. But why is this self.entity current animation nil? Because it's saying this anim is nil, which means that the current animation of our entity is nil. Attempt to index local anim, and it's at line 83 in NPCWalkState. Yeah, right here. When it goes into anim here, it's nil. So why? Why is our current animation nil if we're changing the animation? Now our entity class has the change animation function. And it takes in a name of which to pull from our dot name. So let's walk it back. Like our entity defs here has an animation of an index. So if we look at our player, for example, or our villager here, our dot animations has a table of walk left, walk right, walk up, idle left, idle right. So that is the name key that we're trying to change our current animation to, and it's pulling from the dot animations with an S table, which is right here. Dot animations is right there inside the entity. So I don't see why we're crashing. Reset original position. Original position resets. Okay, that's okay. Now this is just in our entity. Now I guess, would it make sense to change our entity to a specific animation of just... Yeah, let's try that. Let's try to change animation right off the bat for our entity class, because maybe that's what's wrong. But no, it doesn't make sense that it would crash on one state and not the other. So let's just run on our self. Oh, and this is weird because we want to run on ourself the change animation and give it a name of, let's just say, idle down, because we set our entity to go to idle down. Let's just try to do this. We still crash. NPC walk state. So our current animation, all it needs is, our current animation only gets populated when we run change animation function on it, which is part of our entity functions. Change animation right here. do we have a current animation outside of running this function? Like, do we declare it or initialize it anywhere? No. Okay. So the only reason we need this current animation, because that's how we render in the entity state. So like I thought that we render it in here based on, okay, maybe we don't. We're rendering it, this is weird. Oh, okay, we know we defer it to the state machine to render. Okay. And that's where we use anim. So maybe that's where the breakdown is happening, is like if we change state here in the entity, or if we change animation, then it gets lost because it's a local anim, right? Like it said, local anim. But we can't use a global anim because then we have multiple entities. So we would be overriding the current animation if we had a global variable like that. So we do have to keep it local, but we have to make sure we're able to hold on to it. So not sure what the answer is. But it does mean, and see what doesn't make sense to me still is that we should be able to change in the walk state. We should be able to change animation like we are right here and have it get a current animation, because that's all this function does. And this is, we're running it on the entity itself, which we are passing in. It should work. Local anim. I am not sure. I am not sure. We're really close. We're really close. The anim right here is what's crashing. Let's do one last Hail Mary check for any differences between our idle state and our walk state for our NPC, and we'll see if we can notice anything different. So I thought I had wrap turned on. Maybe not. Okay. So here's our idle. Oh. Okay, this is an entity walk state. This should be in our NPC walk state. Okay. So look, we take our entity, that's the same. We take our direction from our entity, that's the same. We call it something a little different, so maybe we'll change this. Like, we don't want anything to be too different because that could be where it's breaking down. So we'll make sure that if we have a dot entity, dot direction, do we not have any more? Yeah, this would be just dot direction. So let's just go through and change this. Okay. It looks like it worked. Oh gosh, he's not facing the direction now. But it stopped crashing. It stopped trying to index that nil value. So it looks like the way we pulled in the direction is just a little weird. So why would that change? We've got to be doing one other thing to this entity direction. Self.direction. Change to idle. Okay. So when we go to change animation, oh, right here. Yeah, we want to change the animation to our dot direction, not our dot entities direction. Oop. Okay. Let's see. Actually, yeah. Okay, sweet. Sweet. Okay. So now I think we do have where we're initializing to the walk state and not the idle state. So that's good. Let's make sure that's the case. Yes, walk states. We skip idle altogether. We're not even using idle other than I think we might be changing. Let's see our mage. Yeah, we use our mage to start in idle, but let's go to idle and make sure we're not still switching to walk right away. We are. Let's take that out, and let's take... Okay, so here's the thing. Now we need to be able to say, at what point do we prescribe the option to our state? It's in the walk state. So I feel like if we come in here into our map declarations, now after we change our state, we should have access to the... Oh God, did I just do that? I just did that. I overwrote the buffer. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. What did we do? Let's go back. Let's take it again. And let's plop it down. Okay. So once we change our state to walk, we're saying, okay, go into that same index. Go into that villager index and go into the state machine that we just changed to. This .statemachine.current. And then go into its option field and give it 1 so that only the villager is walking in a square. Cool. Now, why did mage turn up? That's kind of what I want to know. Why did mage turn up right there? Did we turned off in our state, our idle state, we turned off. Oh, this is our old logic. Okay. Okay, no, this makes sense. Oh, and then change to walk. Okay, so that all makes sense. So it's just that our idle is jacked up. We don't want idle to be doing anything. We used to have some stand-in idle to just make them turn, because we used to have them turn, then walk. And idle was turning and walk was walking. If we just turn off the update, mage should not be turning, only villagers turning. Now mage is in idle, villagers in walk with an option of 1. So if we go in, we should try to change mage to the state machine of NPC walk, but then give it an option 2 and just have option 2 just be walk straight off screen. Like, just so we can prove to ourselves that we can do different options. It's a little bulky. Like, I don't like that we kind of have to go and dive into the option and assign it here. And we can give this a string instead to make it more, you know, one is a counterclockwise circle, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. So we can just call it square walk or something. We'll just call it square. And then we can go into our walk state, and instead of option being 1, we can say if option is square, then do this, and then we can do an else. Else if option is equal to walk down. For right now, we'll just try this, walk down. Then all we want to do is take our current X position and actually our current Y position and update it to be our Y position plus our walk speed. So we should just walk straight down if mage is option is walk down, it should just walk down. Otherwise, walk in a square like option square. So if we run this, nothing should break. Option square. Okay, cool. So villagers walking in square. Now if we go into our map declarations and come in here to our mage, once we change our state to idle, let's change it to walk because that's where the option is. So we'll say, you know what, you're not idling, you're actually going to walk, and you're going to walk using the option of walk down instead of square. Not quite. Now current options walk down, NPC, state machine current, option walk down, option gets walked down, option gets walked down, NPCWalkState. If option is equal to walk down, just like if option is equal to square, if and else if. Okay, did we not save it? Because that looks right. Okay, so is mage not in a walk state, or what's happening here? I guess I'm kind of, maybe if we say NPC walk, change state, NPC walk, yep. On the mage index, yep. NPC walk and then walk down, state machine current option, that all looks right to me. It's like, let's see if mage gets square if he starts doing square. Okay, so square works for mage, but walk down doesn't work for either. So what's going on? Self.option is square. Then do that. Self.entity, that's what it is. Because the walk state doesn't have access unless it's entity. Entity.y gets self.entity.y plus self.entity.walkSpeed. There we go. Now he should walk off. Shit. We didn't change it back to walk down, so let's do that. Okay, mage should walk down. He doesn't. Walk down, NPC walk. We're really close. I thought that was it. That made much sense to me. Self.entity.y, because how we're moving... Oh, we need to scale by delta time? Let's do that. I mean, he should still move. He should move way too fast, because delta time will make it smaller scale. Self.entity.walkspeed, self.entity plus walk speed, yeah. And then change animation to walk down. Oops. What am I missing here? Square's working fine, and if we put mage in square, it works fine. Yeah. Let's try doing walk down for our other guy. Why walk down? Did we spell that wrong? Walk down? Why? If option, not if self.option. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we'll give mage walk down, and then we'll give villager square. I don't know if I like this altogether. Like I kind of like that there's just one NPC. Yeah, I mean, we can make villager spawn in, or mage spawn in a little higher so that he can have more walk down time. Okay. Yeah. So now they're both using the same state, the entity or the NPC walk state, but now we have the option to give in different options, like we can either walk down or walk in a square. So that's cool. And then if they're both on square, we changed it so that they're not in sync walking in the square, but they walk at different timings. So it doesn't look as strange as it did before. But let's go back here. We'll make our mage lower so he doesn't walk through the pillars. Okay, so I'll get rid of this option square debug. Which I think is in our map. Yeah. And then we will turn off the snow system as well, just because we don't want to commit with the snow system running. I just wanted it on to look like something. We'll make sure we didn't break anything. And this did fix, we did track down that bug where we wanted to stop crashing at the, hey, thank you for the follow. I don't know why my notification sound didn't go off, but thank you. Welcome in. We fixed the bug where we can now change our NPCs to a walk state without crashing. And then, so now all they do, they're both in square, but we have the ability to give different options to the walk state. Now, we can make the argument like we can just make a different state. We can make NPC walk square state and change the state to the walk square state instead of the walk state. So we don't bog down our walk state with a bunch of else if option 1, else if option 2. These are all design decisions that we can make. I don't foresee a lot of options being for the NPCs. So, maybe some will reuse some. I don't know. I really don't know. But for now, I think the option makes most sense so that we don't have a bunch of different states. We just have one state with a couple of different options. So that's what we've got currently. This is looking good for, I keep saying that I'm going to record a channel trailer for the game, which I do intend on doing. We do have like a working loot stuff. Well, now, oh, you know what happened was my headphones must have switched my sound systems because I couldn't hear any of that. And maybe you either. I don't know. But we'll call it there. We will check out what we did. We modified quite a bunch of stuff, but all we really did is we moved our NPCs a bit, and then we gave a different option to the NPC walk state. And we changed that option to be initialized after we've got access to the current state. Then we change it with the option. And then we have, we fixed this other bug where we're trying to do something to the entity's direction. I don't get why that crashed it. I don't think the change animation fixed the bug. I think the dot direction gets entity dot direction fixed the bug, but I'm a little confused why. And then we do our NPC walk state. We give it the walking in the square if we give it the square option, and we just walk us down if we give us the walk down option. And yeah, we just all we did was add those two different things, really. But now we also offset the walking square. Instead of walking synchronized, now they make a random amount of weight before they take their next step. So now they're kind of decoupled, and it looks a lot more natural now that they're not perfectly in sync. So we will say added options to the NPC walk state, and fixed bug that prevented NPCs initializing on a walk state. Oops. Great. All right. Well, that's all I've got for today. Tomorrow I don't know if we want to get started on the dialogue system. Maybe we just get started on if you talk to a fence post, it'll pop up and say desert this way. Because now that we've got NPCs, it'd be nice to be able to talk to them. So we'll have to set up some sort of collision detection for, not collision detection, but dialogue detection based on which direction we're facing and any NPC's location. And then once we hit the action button, when the NPC's in front of our character, we would need to stop updating time. We need to change the NPC to face us and then queue up a dialogue box. So that's a lot of stuff right there. So that's honestly, the dialogue box is like one of the dialogue system is one of the trickiest things. K-Tronics, there's no rules, right? Like, I mean, there's like conventions and different ways to do it. For me, if I wanted to make a bunch of different states for the different walking stuff, I totally could, but then, we would have a handful of different states, and then if we want to change it, we'd have to change the initialization state name instead of the option field name. So it's totally, there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's just different design choices. So my reasoning is we don't have to make new files for the NPC walk state. There's just, hey, it's an NPC, go to walk state. And then if we want to give you a specific option, we can. We don't necessarily need to give it a specific walk state right now, because I don't think we have too many options. I don't think our NPCs will be walking in a crazy amount of... I mean, I say this now, but yeah. We will probably make different states for the NPCs. Hey, RGB, what's up? You're coming in right at the end here. We'll probably make different states for the NPCs that do certain stuff, like like scripted cinematics or something. Maybe we have a specific state for the person to walk in and do something and then walk out. That might be its own state, because bogging down every NPC's walk state with that one specific logic seems a little wasteful. So I can imagine that we'll build out different walk states for specific stuff like that, for like the cinematics or unique cases. But in terms of the AI of the NPCs, it's not AI. They're not going to be doing pathfinding. It's going to be, hey, once we design this level, you are going to live right in this corner and you're going to do your walk square. Or you're going to do your walk left rectangle. And we give them like a designated spot to do that. Because if we go the AI route, it's going to add a lot of time. I mean, I don't think it adds enough feature for me to want to say, hey, it's worth doing. We got to do that for the enemies already. So maybe by the time we get it working from the enemies, we might be able to say, okay, we've got some basic pathfinding for the enemies and it wasn't that bad. So now once we have that system, we can port it over to our NPCs and potentially give them smarter logic. But for right now, I think we're in a good spot. We have the ability to add an option to the NPC NPCWalkState without needing to make a bunch of different files or anything, and it's really not that bad, just adding a couple different options. But we always have the option to change it or add different stuff. So for those of you who maybe have not seen the channel, we're doing a top-down adventure game like Link's Awakening. So we've got some spell casting, and we've got some enemies, and we've got some NPCs, and we've got some animations. We got a little pit we can fall into. The sounds are not working because I didn't check my audio devices before I got started here, but we've got enough for like a little glimpse at what the game's going to look like, and now we've finally got NPCs. And then tomorrow I think we're going to start doing our dialogue system, where if we walk up to a fence post and hit action or whatever, we'd read some directions. Because now that we've got NPCs, we'll be able to talk to them. So the dialogue system is going to be next, but it's a big thing to tackle. Can the NPC make a frame path and know if it collides and returns by the same path to the initial frame? We can definitely do any sort of, I guess by frame path, I'm confused what you mean by frame path. Yeah, I guess I just don't know what you mean by frame path, but we can definitely do any sort of collision detection we're able to do. Right now, we just do some really basic axis-aligned bounding box collision, because that's all I really know, and then how to kind of adjust that. But if I knew what frame path was, I could maybe answer a little better. But yeah, the idea is, right now, we can't collide with the NPCs, so we're adding that. Like, they would push us, which, once he pushes us into an immovable object, it screws up the illusion, right? But we do have basic collision detection for their path. I don't know if that's what you were asking for, but thanks, man. Yeah, what's funny is the muscle man. I mean, he was supposed to look muscly. He doesn't look as muscly. Yeah, I love the wizard. I love Tashio. Muscle man's missing something. I think the profile, he might need some, or maybe if we give him a muscle shirt. I like the Widow's Peak. I think that's working for him. But he might need like a tank top. Because I think he just needs some more personality, because the wizard's got the staff and the orb, and Tashio's got this little bun and a belt. But Muscle Man has just got a red shirt and a Widow's Peak. Like, I don't know if Widow's Peak is enough for him to look really fleshed out. So maybe we try to give him like a tank top or something, because maybe those two elements of interesting will push him over the edge to be like, okay, he deserves his spot here. But also his profile reminds me of my brother, so I kind of want to keep him in there. But we'll see. We can always change it. These are just placeholders. But yeah, it's looking good. And our game's about to start to explode in complexity once we have the dialogue system. Well, I mean, I'm worried about the dialogue system. I don't know how to do it, but we'll be figuring it out. Yeah. So that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. I try to stream most nights at 7 Mountain. And I do a pretty good job of staying consistent with it, but sometimes I'm off. But thanks for watching. We'll raid out here. Let's see if Kuju's streaming. He's programming a goblin game in a programming language that isn't out yet, and it's the language I want to move into once it becomes public. So it's the programming language is called Jai. It's a working title, but it's made by a game developer for game development, and he's almost done with his game made in this new language. So we'll raid out to Kuju because he is building some cool stuff. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all later if you want to tune in. Have a good night, y'all.